According to new Sentencing Council guidelines set to take effect on April the 1st, 2025 this year, criminals could be more likely to avoid jail if they come from an ethnic, religious, cultural or gender identity minority. This has been labelled social engineering. Hi, I'm Emily Carver and this is GBN Originals. Yes, so magistrates and judges have been told to normally consider ordering a pre-sentence report if the offender comes from an ethnic minority, cultural minority and or faith minority community, or even if they're transgender. Now, this has been met with backlash from both the government and Conservatives. You have Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary. She's just said she will be writing to the Sentencing Council to register her displeasure and recommend reversing this change. Now, she strongly disagrees with the new guidelines and when speaking in the Commons said, as somebody from an ethnic minority background, I do not stand for any differential treatment before the law for anyone. Lord Justice William Davis, chairman of the Sentencing Council, he defended the updated guidance, stating that it aims to ensure courts have the most comprehensive information available to hand out appropriate sentences. The new guidelines also include a section on the effectiveness of sentencing, advising that rehabilitative sentences may be more effective in reducing reoffending than short custodial sentences. Well, today we spoke to Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, who has said the new guidelines show blatant bias against Christians and straight white men. We also spoke to political editor Christopher Hope. Let's hear what they said.
Let's catch up with our political editor Christopher Hope. Christopher, it seems bizarre. The government and the opposition are in agreement that these are terrible guidelines, but it's not up to either of them because the Sentencing Council is independent.
And the rules come in on the 1st of April. Hi, Tom. Hi, Emily. I can't see how how it will resolve itself unless there's a massive volte-face by the Sentencing Council. The work started under the Tory government, finished under the Labour government. It looks like the government that we're going to see judges ordered to carry out these sentencing pre-sentence reports when they sentence people like young adults, abuse survivors, pregnant women, and those from an ethnic or faith minority. The concern is that when these judges look at these reports into sentencing, they tend to do a lesser sentence. So the concern from the Tory party, and it seems Shabana Mahmood now, the Labour Justice Secretary, is simply that it will mean that white men will be more likely to be jailed or have a harsher sentence. Now, there's news breaking moments ago. Robert Jenrick, who has led the way on this, the Shadow Justice Secretary, he has told GB News this. He is going to take a judicial review against the Sentencing Council unless the government passes legislation to stop this happening. So you've got the Tory Shadow Justice Secretary going to court, taking legal action against this Sentencing Council to make it change its way. He says this to us: I'll be challenging the sentencing guidance in the courts on the grounds it enshrines anti-white and anti-Christian bias into our criminal justice system. And if Labour won't amend the law, he says, to prevent this, the Conservatives will. There are few more important principles than equality under the law. We will fight tooth and nail to defend it. So breaking this moment, the Tories are going to sue the Sentencing Council to get this guidance reversed.
Very interesting development there from Robert Jenrick, as you say, Christopher. He's very much making this his latest policy campaign, isn't he? In terms of the Conservative politics around this, Kemi Badenoch has tweeted as well that she'd like to see Labour change the law on this and that this is the absolutely wrong thing to come from the Sentencing Council. But it's Robert Jenrick who's really fighting for this. He does tend to make a lot more noise, doesn't he, than the leader. Very much still appears to be in campaigning mode, although, of course, this is his brief.
To be fair to him, this is his brief. It's an area he should be fighting hard about. When you're in opposition, Emily and Tom, all you can do is develop ideas for government after the election, or just try and grab the attention and be a pain for the government. Though this is certainly being a pain. If you have a legal action being launched against the Sentencing Council, it's almost challenging the Labour government to put its money where its mouth is. We heard from Shabana Mahmood. She says, as someone from an ethnic minority background, she won't stand for any differential treatment before the law for anyone of any kind. So the approach is agreed. Jenrick, Badenoch, Mahmood, they agree on equality in front of the law, but only Jenrick is suing the Sentencing Council.
Well, it'll be absolutely fascinating to see which gets there first. I mean, will the government actually change the law? They could put an amendment on the crime bill going through Parliament right now. That would be I would be shocked actually if they didn't. But I mean, stranger things have happened. We'll have to keep a close eye on this one, Christopher Hope. But for now,
they've got to move.
Yeah, go on.
Well, I was going to say, sorry, they've got to move quickly. This comes into law in less than a month's time on the 1st of April. So this comes into law, and then you have white men being more likely to be imprisoned than other groups. That's a big problem immediately on the 1st of April. There's no time to waste.
Well, there you go, Christopher Hope. Thank you very much indeed. A sense of urgency around this one. Thank you, Christopher. Well, what do you make of these new sentencing guidelines? Should your ethnicity, should your race, should your religion, should your gender identity be taken into account when it comes to choosing whether you go to jail or not, or whether you should get a longer or a shorter sentences? Or is this some kind of anti-white racism, anti-Christian racism, that only if you belong to a minority that this kind of stuff is taken into account? Do they risk creating unfair disparities in the justice system? And do you trust the Labour Justice Secretary to get this right and stand up for fairness in the justice system? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much indeed for watching. This has been Emily Carver. Don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel for more updates on this and other important issues.